Back due on NDS Detroit here. P number 84871 on the behalf of Mr. Howard. Go ahead and say your name for the record.
Herschel Page Howard before.
Good afternoon to both of you. Ms. Wright?
Good morning or good afternoon, Judge. Agent Wright for Probation Services. Can you hear me?
I can. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
And we do have a lady here with us as well. I don't need your name necessarily, but are you Mr. Howard's mother?
No, my mother is deceased.
Okay, I apologize. All right, so we are here for a failure to appear where a bench warrant was issued for Mr. Howard's failure to appear for show cause. We started out this case with probation order that was entered on March 3rd of 23, and among other conditions, Mr. Howard was assigned Home's Youthful Trainee status, ordered to complete 2 years of probation, ordered to take medication as prescribed by a licensed physician, and to complete a psychological evaluation, and to complete mental health, domestic violence, and batterers intervention. It was about 5 months later. The department notified the court that home calls were made on 2 different occasions in July of 23 and 1 in August of 23, and Mr. Howard was not available. And about a month later, Mr. Howard came before the court, and my predecessor, the Honorable William J. Giovanni, continued him on probation and modified the probation order for him to submit to a psychological evaluation and treatment by October 12th of 2020. Then on December 7th of 23, the department alleged that on November 27th of 23, Mr. Howard was arrested in E-course, accused of domestic violence, and he was scheduled to appear in court on a date subsequent to the date of the warrant request. And the warrant was issued on January 3rd, 2024 by the Honorable Lawrence Ellisall. On September 26th of 24, the court removed his tether as requested and entered an order continuing him on probation. And that was the order that resolved the then pending, violation of probation warrant. And I'm assuming that the 25th District Court matter had been resolved with no prosecution. It was dismissed, and this court in kind dismissed the violation allegation and warrant and removed the tether. Then, not even 2 weeks later, the department was requesting yet another summons on October 8th of 2024, alleging the following technical probation violation: that Mr. Howard was scheduled to appear before the court on December 29th is scheduled to appear on December 29th for review hearings, but subsequent to the submission of the original violation report, Mr. Howard had not been seen since July 22nd of 2024. So he was missing for approximately 3 months. And he was ordered to appear before this court on the 29th. Is there something funny, Mr. Howard?
Nope.
Oh, you were smiling. I
No,
thought
that's
perhaps
not-
you thought something was amusing.
You said I was missing 3 months.
Was that something that you were smiling about?
Wasn't smiling at all.
I'm going to make the assumption that you didn't realize that you were smiling. Because I'm telling you, you were
Okay,
smiling.
if you thought I was smiling,
She's saying she's making the assumption she's not gonna make, she doesn't think you were, sir.
okay, no.
So, Mr. Howard was supposed to be here 2 days ago. He wasn't. The court issued a warrant for his arrest. And I should note for the record that he phoned the court and spoke with our clerk and was, I would describe belligerent, demanding to have his court date changed and expressing his displeasure with the fact that he needed to come in person, which is generally the way a warrant works, Mr. Howard. So that's the procedural history for this case, one where Mr. Howard has been given repeated opportunity to primarily address his mental health treatment. And I would note for the record that in at least one of the probation department reports, the author indicates that Mr. Howard adamantly denies that he needs any mental health treatment, despite the fact that he's been prescribed medication. So, obviously, we're going to recall the warrant because Mr. Howard is here. And Mr. Howard, for those allegations you have, you can unfold your arms. For those allegations, you have the right to have a hearing within 14 days where the court, if it finds that you violated your probation as described in this most recent summons, the court can terminate your probation without improvement. The court can keep your probation case open and modify its conditions, including sending you to jail for a term of incarceration. And the court can just close your probation and send you to jail for a term of incarceration. Or the court can just modify your terms generally, or the court can do nothing. You have 14 days, though, in which you can demand a hearing, or you can admit that you violated probation as described, in which case the court would have the same options. Counsel, what does Mr. Howard want to do?
We are requesting a hearing, Your Honor.
Okay, bond. You probably want to discuss bond, but it's going to be a complete waste of time because Mr. Howard is being remanded until his hearing.
Your Honor, may I make a record of it because he did appear today. I've really stressed with him how important following through with the mental health procedures are. He's a young man that's struggling with homelessness. We already learned today that he's missing a parent. I'm trying to draw the proper analogy, but I think because he hasn't gotten into the treatment, like he's enrolled, but because there hasn't been a chance for it to take effect. And I don't think incarcerating him is going to help him reach the realizations he needs to. I think it's the treatment. Maybe a higher level of care is appropriate, Your Honor, but he did appear in court today knowing there's a warrant, knowing the risks. He knows the next court date and he can appear for that as well.
Well, here's why I don't find your argument convincing. It's because Mr. Howard has been given multiple opportunities, which is why I took the time to go through the record, multiple opportunities to not just enroll in mental health treatment, but to receive mental health treatment. And I believe that it is because, as the department has described, he doesn't believe he needs it, which is the reason he's not doing it. I think, excuse me, Mr. Howard, I'm not, Mr. Howard, I'm not talking to you, sir. Mr. Howard needs some motivation. He's going to jail until his hearing. Is there anything else for this record?
No, Your Honor.